Yo, what's going on everyone? This is Maximus and welcome to Mixed Gaming. Today we'll be sharing with you 3 simple tips to help you improve at PUBG Mobile. Before we get into today's video, I'd like to thank you guys for helping us reach 100 subscribers. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button for awesome PUBG Mobile content. Also, press the bell icon and you'll be notified every time we post a new video. Now, without further ado, let's get right into today's video. Tip number 1. Move and shoot. It is important to always move while shooting in PUBG Mobile, especially when you're in close quarters combat. Moving while shooting presents your enemies with a moving target, making it harder for them to hit you. If you watch pro players, you'll see that they never really stand still while shooting unless they absolutely have to. Moving while shooting is pretty simple. All you have to do is, while moving, press fire and drag in the direction opposite to which you're moving. For example, if you're moving towards the left, fire and drag your aim towards the right. And if you're moving towards the right, and you have to fire and drag your aim towards the left, so on and so forth. Now I understand that for players who play using 2 fingers, moving while shooting can be a problem while they're using single fire weapons. This is primarily due to the small amount of delay that occurs between aiming and firing when you're playing using just 2 fingers. There is a simple solution to this problem. While using these weapons, just align your aim on your target while moving, stop for a split second and take your shot using the second fire button and recommence moving immediately after. Alternatively, you can learn the technique we call claw. Claw is basically using more than 2 fingers to play, that is like using 3, 4, 5 or maybe even 6, 7, 8 or even 9 fingers to play. Playing claw increases the number of control inputs in your game, making it that much easier to move while shooting. We will make a video in the near future on how to play claw, so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel so that you don't miss out on that video. Now, see what happened when HowLMist went up against a squad who did not know how to move and shoot. On to the next tip. Tip number 2. Play tactically. Outsmart your enemies, outplay your enemies. One of the ways to win easily at PUBG Mobile is to try to get a tactical advantage over your enemies, meaning getting your enemies at a disadvantage and using that to defeat them. Now we can't make you smarter with just one video, but what we can do is we can share with you the ways we use to outsmart our enemies, and we hope you'll learn from them. The first rule of outplaying your enemies is never to rush head-on into a firefight unless you're absolutely confident of winning. The reason is that if you rush head-on into a firefight, you're putting yourself into an aim battle with your enemy. Say you're aim battling just one guy, your chances of winning that fight, not counting factors such as ping or skill, is just 50%. And if you're going against more than one enemy, your chances of winning go down even more. Now we're gonna tell you how you can gain an upper hand over your enemies. The first thing we're gonna talk about is positioning. Positioning is important if you want to win a firefight, especially if you are on the defensive. Positioning means which path you're gonna take while you're pushing your enemies. It also means which angles or which positions you are going to hold while you are being pushed by your enemies. Now watch how HowLMist strategically places himself in a corner to defend himself while he's being rushed by a full squad. Good positioning requires map knowledge, particularly knowing the interiors of buildings. What the opposing team should have done is they should have sent just 2 guys to push HowLMist. They should have left 1 guy downstairs to watch that window on the left, and They should have tossed a grenade into the room HowLMist was hiding in so that he would be forced to jump out of that window, and when he did, he would be killed instantly. Instead, they blindly pushed him and got squad wiped by him. So, if you're watching, don't make the same mistake they did. The second thing we're going to talk about is flanking your enemies. As you must know, people are always focused at their front, so they're vulnerable at their back and at their sides. If you can distract your enemies and hit them from their flanks where they're least expecting you, you can defeat them very easily. Now, we are going to show you an example of how you can go beyond your enemy's expectations and do something unexpected to get the upper hand over them. So, our team was rushing another team and they were hiding in a building. But going face to face could result in the death of one or more than one of our teammates. So, what they did was they climbed an adjacent building, went around, then jumped onto the balcony and hit the other team from the window. As you can see right now, they were not even expecting that. They were guarding the doorway. So you can use this technique to easily outplay your enemies. Another important thing is to always play as a team. Don't just go solo. Use your teammates to your advantage. Playing as a team, you'll always have a higher chance of defeating your enemy than if you play alone. Last but not least, we are going to talk about the technique known as pre-firing. As you get better at the game, you'll learn to anticipate enemy movements and fire beforehand at where you think they'll be in the next couple of seconds. Stark pre-fired the doorway, as you could see right there, as he knew his enemy was going to peek him. Now he hears the dead guy's teammate rotating to the left. Watch what he does. That guy was dead even before he knew what hit him. Tip number 3. Sensitivity. Now, one thing I have to explain to you guys that everyone gets wrong somehow is the difference between camera and ADS sensitivity. As you can see, I turned down the camera sensitivity for my 4x scope down to 1%. I have enabled show touches so that you can see how much my crosshair moves for the amount of surface I have to cover on the screen with my finger. And you can see that the crosshair on my 4x scope is moving very little when I slide my finger. I am now going to turn my 4x sensitivity back to normal, but reduce the ADS sensitivity on the 4x scope to 1%, as you saw there. Now I need you to carefully notice what happens when I aim with my 4x scope and when I start firing right here. Well, this is because ADS sensitivity is actually the firing sensitivity, basically the sensitivity that is applied to your weapons when you are firing them. And since my ADS sensitivity on the 4x scope is set to 1%, my aim almost completely froze while firing. The conclusion is, the word ADS sensitivity is a misnomer. What really is the case is that the camera sensitivity is your sensitivity when you are not firing your weapon, and the ADS sensitivity is the sensitivity while you are actually firing your weapon. Additionally, the ADS sensitivity is only applied when your weapon is actually being fired and not just when you're just holding the fire button. I have tried and tested this. If your weapon runs out of ammo and you're still holding the fire button, your camera sensitivity will be applied and not your ADS sensitivity. Now, to figure out your perfect sensitivity, you need to select one of the 3 sensitivity presets, low, medium or high. Go into training mode, pick up a weapon, attach a scope to it, aim at a random direction, choose a target and try to quickly aim at your target. As you quickly aim at your target, check whether your aim moves too fast, your crosshair goes too far beyond the target, or does your aim move too slowly? Does your crosshair move not enough to reach the target? If your crosshair frequently moves too far beyond your target, you need to lower your sensitivity for that scope. If your crosshair is not moving enough distance, then you need to increase the sensitivity for that scope. You need to keep doing this unless you have figured out all your sensitivities for everything, like for no scope, for all your scopes, everything, and then only you'll have a set of the perfect sensitivities for you. Well, that was all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Until then, goodbye and good luck.